Hey everybody, in the art of comics, sometimes you gotta go outside, just enjoy the weather. Yeah, we're back here in Santa Barbara. This is East Beach volleyball courts. This is where all the locals come and play volleyball, and we play a little bit today. I'm your host, as you know, Andres Salazar. And yeah, we're gonna talk comics, but I just wanted to give you a little view of the outdoors right before we get going. Yeah. And talk some comics. So here you go, here's your intro. Art of comics, let's do it.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's me, Andres Salazar, comic book creator, writer, lover of the art form, the medium that is sequential art comics. And we are doing part 3. You thought I forgot, didn't you? People thought that somehow I'm just gonna do part 1, part 2, and not do a part 3. No, we are continuing this. So I will continue doing this, so don't you worry. All you guys that were nervous that I had forgot about Incal, no. I ain't forgetting about Jodorowsky and Moebius, no way. So let's go into part 3. And you know, as I read this yesterday, because I read on my Sundays, I use my Sundays as my reading time, I'm thinking the whole time, like, what am I gonna say about part 3 that hasn't been said already about part 1 and part 2? And you know what? I have to admit, I'm gonna do a confessional. The art is really good. The art is fun. There's just so many fun panels and just really cool techniques that Gerard is doing. But the story is a challenge. I'm not going to be able to put a lot of like understanding and meat and themes into this because it's just, I feel like it's kind of it's a space exploration. It's exploring these different kind of facets of society and concepts. It's very conceptual in some of these ideas, but it's not a linear plot. You know, there's a chase. It's kind of a road trip in a way. You're seeing these different places and stuff. But it's a challenge to talk about because it's just like kind of crazy and out there. We got John DeFool. He is the everyman, the down on his luck, private eye, you know, gumshoe, who gets somehow infused with the Incal, the white Incal. And there's like a black Incal and a white Incal. And this Incal is this mystical, magical element that gives the possessor, you know, understanding and powers and that are godlike, right? And so he goes through this story, this world, in a series of adventures and a series of calamities, you know, and that's what we see. So Incal is going through this crazy, strange world that was in some way inspired by Dune and these things, and it is Jodorowsky's sci-fi world, right? If they made the Dune movie, maybe this never would have happened because this is because of they couldn't make Dune. So maybe that's bad because we do want this. But let's just go into the art. I think that I can speak more of, but I'll try my best to talk about what I think the story's about and things like that. But to be honest, guys, it's kind of indecipherable in some ways. And you know, it's that's just my take. So there you go. If you want a deep analysis of the themes and meaning behind Incal, this probably isn't your video, and I will be honest about that and forthright. Okay, let's talk about the beautiful choices that Gerard makes, that, as Stan Lee would say, John, he just called him John, that John would make. John made a lot of choices here. So right now in the middle of the story where they're being chased, we've got John DeFool, we've got Saloon, his father, the Meta Baron, We've got the dog face, dog man, and they're all being chased by the Bergs and by the president and all these kind of evil characters, organizations, the technocrats and the techno priests and stuff. So they're being chased down in this kind of whirlpool, green, slimy lava, what have you. But just look at the great way of showing movement with the lines, the depth in there. He's great at scale. Look at the scale here and how just beautiful comes out here. And then we see it's far away, you know, the scale of this huge place. This is a great panel. I love the way he draws the rocks, very organic. There's no what's geometric is the man-made things, right? So you see what is man-made is very geometric, right? But what is nature is very organic. That's interesting. The flat colors really make this work perfect. I love the way this is colored. And, you know, there's some gradation too here. There's some, you know, some spray paint or you know, airbrush here to showing a little bit of that. Of course, here, this is a beautiful, like, gradient here. Kind of a blue, kind of a cool to a warmer brown. We see this a lot in Jose Jimenez's work. When Jimenez works with Jodorowsky and Metabaron, you'll see a lot of that kind of gradient of blues to oranges and umbers. So we've got a hippity hoppity, some great action movement coming out of this little slimy, the trash level or trash world, and just really kind of beautiful little kind of comedic moments here, showing passage of time. He does move it though. It's not like the same exact frame. He's moving the frame around a little bit, which is nice. And this is a great little splash too. Just the right number of lines to be able to communicate that. It's really pretty. I think he's using mostly Croquil pens, you know, G-nibs, things like that. He might use brush on some of the things. And I'm sure a repeatograph every now and then. And he meets these psycho rats. The psycho rats, I think that's the name of the chapter, psycho rats, yeah. Psycho rats feed on the fear of people, and so as he is afraid, they multiply and grow stronger. And now he's summoning the Incal part of his being that's these forces of his psyche, you know, hunger and rage and lust and fear, envy. And now it's kind of overwhelming them. And if you want to learn about the Metabaron is brilliant. Actually, let me show you real quick. We'll talk about it. Okay. Maybe I don't have it right away. I thought I had. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Cool. Here's Metabaron, and so if you want to learn about the Metabaron and that story, it is really good. You know, in some ways, honestly, from just like a story perspective, I think I like Metabarons more than Incal. Newsflash, just saying that. Hot take. Jimenez does a brilliant job. This is all kind of painted, but it is really, really well done. I love the art. I adore the art, and I like the story. It's this generational story of the Metabaron, who's like this not all-powerful, but just the most powerful, like, warrior, you know, mercenary in the universe. And it's a brilliant, beautiful story. I should read it again. I really enjoyed it. And so this is a great thing. So definitely a Metabaron. Here, he's kind of dry. He's kind of like, there's not much going on. We don't really know much about him. But in his little other story, it's really good. And here we meet Animea, or did I pronounce that right? Anima, something. And yeah, Anima. We meet her, who is the mother of Saloon, and he's the father of Saloon, but they're not biologically. We learn a little bit more about that later. This is great stuff, though. They get together. She explains the psycho rat's powers, and okay, cool. So we just chill out, just get into your Zen mode, and the rats will kind of disappear. And so they get into the Zen, and this is like meditative, showing power or strength through meditation happens over and over in this. And so one way maybe a treatise of this is really about the power of one's mind and inner strength. And so maybe we all have a little Incal inside us. I don't know. I'm maybe a little too far there, but yeah, there's these moments where we see like meditation wins the day and kind of like overcomes things. By the way, I just love this little thing right there. I just think that is just so cool. I don't know why I love that so much. She just looks gorgeous. I love the lines. It's so clean and pretty, and the color. This right here just really calls to me. I dig that. And then again, now look at the man-made stuff. Again, notice, it's all very geometric and mechanical, and he's using a repeatograph for the lines here, and it's that kind of a technical stuff. Very good. The next chapter runs through this area, this kind of garbage. But look at this too. Look at the way he does this a lot. We'll see this in Blueberry. We'll see this in his own Azrak stories. He is a brilliant job of showing depth and showing space by the decreasing level of detail and line work and stipple, and it goes off in space and stipples, and it comes, and then you see it come a little bit more, and then these lines. It's just a great cartooning. It just shows depth so well. And this here is not overly wrought. It's not overly worked over. It's still simple. The coloring helps, of course, too. Coloring really makes it pop, but even black and white, just really cool stuff. In fact, if there was a book ever to have a artist edition, I would love to see a Moebius artist edition in Call, I would love to see the black and whites of this. I'm sure somebody has them somewhere, at least a couple pages. So Scott Dunbar, get to that, okay? IDW, Scott, get working on getting some Moebius stuff, okay? Got work to do. Beautiful faces. Oh, they work together, by the way. John and Anima work together, put both of their Incals, join forces to get themselves out of this situation. They have this little ship that they're going to power now. And then look at this, just great stuff. Yeah, the more and more I think about this, the more I feel like this size really doesn't do it justice. It really needs a bigger size, like more of the magazine size, or even bigger than that format. I just feel like there's a lot of little tiny details that we really can't see unless we get our face right up in there. It's just so cool, just these little explosions and movements. And then something as simple as this. Nice hand. And there's commentary throughout this. We get these little moments where we see how this robot chasing them, the president, it's commentary about society, about our overindulgence and everything, and our addiction to like TV and entertainment, and how that's all we seek after. And so there's those kind of little commentary that Jodorowsky puts into the story. The zombie-like family watching TV, which is watching the screens of the robot. And here, Saloon and his father reunited now, but not biologically. And then these are the great little, the garbage eaters, these kind of like troglodyte type of monstrosities coming after them, just an army of them just coming down the hill. I mean, a lot of this is just saying, wow, look at all the figures he's putting in, look at all the work, just really going to town on this. He's not putting 5 or 6, he's putting hundreds. All that takes time. With time is some appreciation of the art. Yeah, this is really cool too. It's like it's floating off, and then we see these guys are kind of dangling on there. This is great stuff here too. The overlapping of figures is really cool. He's traveling. Great positions. Everything. It's just like so good. A little comedic bit. He falls down, whops him on the head, falls down, is in the mud, and the robot in front of him behind him just squishes him. And then they get to the center of this sun or what have you. Again, we're just moving through different worlds, right? We were in a green water world. We're in a swamp world. We're in this trash with rats. We're in this other kind of trash world with these guys, and now we're in this world. It's just moving to these different environments, through this universe, and we get little bits of what is this about or what is that about, but not much. Here we learn about Saloon and what that is about, and how Saloon was Anima's son and given in charge to the Metabaron, but it wasn't his actual father, but more just a caretaker. Again, this meditation where they're in these like religious, symbology and moments to kind of like meditate, and through their ability to calm themselves and forgiveness, they can leave. So this beam that magically will shoot them out to safety will only be activated when everyone is in a peaceful heart. I mean, there's some religions that talk about, being in prayer together with oneness of heart and of openness and forgiveness. And so it's these kind of religious moments that he puts into the story where, the sci-fi elements, the science fiction, the magical elements are propelled by things like faith and hope and charity and love and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of neat. I do like the kind of philosophy elements to it, even if it does make it a challenge as far as like a plot or overall story. Maybe we shouldn't even think of it that way. Okay, look at this stuff. Just wonderful. He can draw things like, deserts and, draw this kind of barren landscape. And he can also draw, all this technical command center of spaceships, brilliant stuff. Here's another element we get into this perfected person in some way, the hermaphroditic, empress, which has part male, part female parts all in one thing. And here we get a little more of that, the drama of these large organizations. And then, Jodorowsky in this world goes into more depths in the Techno Priests in a book. There's a series called the Techno Priests. There's a book, the Metabarons we talked about. And the Incal kind of sprinkles us along through all those different organizations or governments or principalities, and we just kind of stumble across through this, but he does go into more depth into what those organizations do and how they function in subsequent stories. But here they're in some sort of a chamber or some kind of a council, all these different groups. And here's some renegades kind of do a coup d'etat, and he wants to get rid of the emperor, blaming the Techno Priests, that the shadow egg, which we saw earlier. If you remember, the shadow egg was that spider-like thing. Where was it? Over here, right? This one tenebra, which I remember we learned what that was in the other episode. I don't remember what it is. Egg or no, not egg. Ovid Tenebra, it meant something. Egg something, I don't remember. Terrible egg or whatever. So this is the shadow egg, and so there's these like shadow eggs which have this power to destroy the sun, and so they unveil the sun that's been destroyed by a shadow egg, and he's like, I'm blaming you guys, the Techno Priests, and then I go snap. And then there's some calamity. It's not going to go down like that. The Techno Priests aren't about to have that happen, and President's forces come in, his like SS or what have you come in, start shooting up the place. This is brilliant, by the way. I love that. And the Empress gets killed. The Megalomanus. And then now this guy, they become in control, right? So we get a little bit of that kind of world. Here's the Crystal Forest. Now we're back with the president, his robot, being televised, is chasing after them. Now we're in another world. We're in the Crystal Forest. If you touch the crystals, it'll ring out a song or siren melody that then knocks everyone asleep. Of course, the silly bird, Vroop or Droop, hits it, knocks them out. Look at this kind of cool ship. Really cool ship. They get the would-be coup d'etat gets exiled to like the prison planet. Meanwhile, the robot machine transforms into a panzer tank, and now is going to go after them. Still chasing them. Chasing them through the Crystal Forest, which wakens them. They're running. It's really cool stuff. Just the ideas. Visual ideas. It reminds me of things in the 70s, 60s and 70s, those sci-fi like animations and stuff like Wizards and was it Fantastic Planet? I think Fantastic Planet is another one. There's these really bizarre, trippy places and really going out there. I think nowadays science fiction is really more based on, well, tell me the rules. How does it work? How does it really work? How would you understand? We need to understand it. We need scientific, how does this, logically make sense in the real world? And back then, they didn't give a crap about that. In the 60s and 70s, maybe because they were on mushrooms or whatever, they would just create these outlandish, fun fantasy stories, bizarre stuff. Now I think technology allows us to do that in a higher fidelity, but for some reason we as a society are more grounded in that what is real. So we don't get that wild stuff as much. There's exceptions, of course, but in general, not the case. And then we're learning a bit about Saloon now has kind of converts himself into this like pure energy state of a duo. And is able to this is now we're getting into like serious like metaphysics stuff, and I didn't quite understand it all. I probably need to read it a couple times. But basically the Incals are able to kind of combine and merge into, these two pyramids kind of invert into themselves. And now it's like one thing. And Saloon like left his corporeal form to be kind of a being of energy to do that. And so now this is now a spaceship in itself and able to travel. And he feels used because, I've been used. He's been used because it was actually his sperm that created Saloon, and that Anima was the homeo prostitute whore back in the beginning of the story. So this, where are we? Back way, way, way back here with this homeo whore, this girl with the boobs. This was Anima using him for his sperm because he had the genetic element for some reason that was able to create Saloon, which was this being like a messiah who had the power to leave his corporeal form and create this device, spaceship thing. So he's pissed off. And he's like, I've been used. This sucks. This sucks. and now the spaceship is formed, and now they see one of the techno eggs, the shadow egg, is devouring the sun on this planet. That's chapter 3. Chapter 4, or rather part 4, maybe we'll do the rest of it. We'll just bang through the whole thing. Because I don't want to do this like 8 chapters, but I feel like maybe we might do 2. We might do 2 more. Anyway, that's it for me today. I want to thank you for joining us here in our little discussion of the Incal. Check out my Patreon when you got a second. Just click on there and see what you see. There's some cool things I'm making, my own like little skills. I also have videos, live videos all the time that I'm doing in the evenings, every Tuesdays and Saturdays. I got new comics, and I also have on Thursdays the art of film, where I'm kind of doing deep dives on some of the best, most lauded films ever made. And there you go. So thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.